Now you can hear me. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Final Show Films. I'm Sen, your executive producer here, and I want to thank you all for tuning in. Particularly want to thank our $20 tier supporters over at patreon.com/fsfilms. Those being Jovian Alexander, Samantha Bates, Cat Waterflame, and the Shard System, without whom we wouldn't be able to do nearly as much as what we do now. So thank you all very much. And if you're watching live, please sit back, relax, and enjoy. And we're live, and now I get to make sure that everyone can hear everyone else, not just me. And
Should we say something?
there, now they can hear you. Go!
Okay.
Woo! Hi!
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Wrath and Glory Under the Steel Sky. I am William, and I am your game master for this Wrath and Glory campaign. Joining me today, we have Jeremy.
All right, Jeremy's doing his thing, right? Yeah.
Right, Jeremy's doing your thing.
We will have Jeremy, but Jeremy's busy right now.
Hey, I'm Mara. I'm playing Tina, work pilot.
And Jack.
Hey everybody, I'm Jack, and I'm playing Aristarchus Dactyl, a member of the Adeptus Mechanicus, and very interested to see where this all ends up.
And Holly.
Hi, I'm Holly. I'm playing Blair Hart, Ganger Spell.
And Sen.
I'm Sen, and I'm playing Saris Artina. Sarah.
All right, I'm back.
Completely forgot my character's name.
Saris Artinos.
Thank you.
You were saying it
Saris
right, yeah.
Artinos, Inquisitorial Acolyte, and also I need to go check on my child because he's making a mess.
And Jeremy.
Hi, I'm Jeremy. I'm playing Remy Mara. Yeah, that's all I gotta say.
And as always, Black Lives Matter, trans rights are human rights.
Powered by Sirenscape.
Yes,
Julia unfortunately can't be here tonight.
Yeah, Julia will. The stream will be powered by Sirenscape, presumably at some point. Probably after Sen gets back, because I don't feel like controlling that right now. And yes, Julia will not be joining us this week. Hopefully, she will be back next week. Much love. Stream is powered by Sirenscape as usual.
Kind of open everything.
See, this is why we forget to say this sometimes, because, you know, sometimes it isn't.
It's not right now, but it will be.
We probably also need a new Sirenscape link for our team, because the one we have pinned is, as I recall, the old one.
Oh.
Oh, that explains why it's quiet as well.
It's
there.
Yep.
We learn that Sirenscape refreshes its links every now and then.
Yeah, is that what we learned?
I learned nothing.
I'm unsurprised. I've seen you play D&D.
I was going to say, says the most academically advanced of all of us, I think, right about now.
But
academically advanced, academically accomplished, whatever I'm trying to say.
Thank you.
When last we left off, our agents had met with Lord Malton Tandris at the Tandris estate in order to learn some information. Lord Tandris provided both the agents and his son Jordan with the story of what had occurred to Janaea Tandris in the time since her youth, prior to her disappearance from the house. Recounting the tragedies that befell her in her youth, to how she had cut herself off from everyone else, to how he had succumbed to pressure from others that had led to her being cast out and disowned from the family. With the group discussing various details about the story and asking questions, eventually it was requested to see the room that she had been raised in, as it had been largely preserved in the years since her disappearance, for potentially any clues that might be present. As the group finished dinner with Lord Tandris and Jordan, Lord Malton Tandris led the way to Janaea's old room. And we rejoin the group as he opens a ancient wooden door, which is a rarity on a world like this. Things that are actually made of wood are few and far between. But the wood creaks slightly under ages of inertia as it slowly swings open, and he reaches in and activates a lumen switch, and lights come on, and you can see, well preserved, mostly just dusted repeatedly over years, is a room that looks like it belongs to a teenage woman, maybe a young adult. There are various accoutrement for applying makeup. There are a couple of thrash band posters. Her closet that has all of her clothes in it. The room in general is done up in crimson, which is one of the colors of House Tandris. The primary colors of the house being crimson and black. Most of the decor around here is in red, with accents of gold and browns, and occasional, like, some of the secondary color black is present in a lot of it. It looks ornate in the way that one renders the practical beautiful. It's not that it's overwrought. It's not that there is a whole bunch of excess carvings or anything like that. It's that where there is practicality, it has been rendered artistry. Things like the hand mirror, that is very much a practical hand mirror, has been inlaid with filigree to make it look nicer. It's not a big ornate honking thing. It's just very simple, very detailed. Her bed, which is looks very Spartan, has been intricately worked on the posts rather than being made into a giant 4-poster. It's a very standard bed. It's very well made. And that sort of marks the aesthetic of this room. The reliability of the practical embellished with grace and artistry.
I will just walk in. Lord, if we're gonna potentially get information, I'm gonna need to do a little bit of digging in this room. I'm hoping that that's all right.
Of course, if anything leads to something that will help you find her, it will have been worth it.
All right.
So,
And I'm gonna start searching.
what are you looking for?
Any, like, anything that gives us information about if she had any friends from the wrong side of the track, anybody that she might have gone to after being essentially kicked out. We need to know where she went. I understand that was a long time ago,
Yes.
but that's the road that's going to take us where we need to be. So I am looking for journals. I am looking for the things that you would hide in the places that you don't want your parents to know about.
Roll me investigation, difficulty 3.
So I am checking between bed, between mattress, checking for false bottoms of things, all that sort of stuff. I'm
And
trying
I'm
to
gonna-
as respectfully toss the room as possible.
And I'm gonna roll a d6 to see what my personal objective this.
Oh yes,
All
everyone
right.
should roll me their
Oh.
objectives.
Also, while Remy's doing that, I would like to. This isn't mechanically how it works according to the game, but I feel like it's appropriate to try at least. I would like to do a Psyniscience roll, just to see if there's anything warp active.
She's a psyker.
Yeah, but Psyniscience like mechanically just senses active warp energies. I'm more looking like trying to get like a feeling impression off of the room if there's anything like any sort of like remnants of psycho activity that might be picked up by it. I don't mechanically this doesn't work like that, but I figure you know what the hell, give it a shot.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead and roll it. Roll me Psyniscience.
Also, my objective is to postulate on the weakness of the mutant, the alien, or the renegade.
Mine is to give praise
That'll
to the
go great.
Omnissiah for some small miracle.
Very comforting to the family, you know. I'm gonna apply the cunning of the orc god Mork again. It's gonna be great.
I'm
So,
gonna declare the violence and villainy of authority.
And I will I'll try to recount a desperate act of survival I once made. So a few days ago,
I fell in a hole.
Right up
All right, Psyniscience. Shlabam.
Well, you manifest it.
Ooh,
8.
there's
Plus a glory.
Yep, you got a glory for that.
And
And if you want to make any enhancements on your Psyniscience,
I
if it
don't
has
think
any.
Psyniscience has any potency spenders. Let me double check that. But if I could push some of those to be like, ship some of those to be, I get something. That'd be great.
Let me look at Psyniscience while that's.
I don't know if I'm as well trained in it as Remy is, but Aristarchus would like to investigate for any helpful clues or potential decade-old hints or leads that this room might afford as well.
Yeah, you can roll my investigation as well. And yes, because it has no potencies and it is very much a role-playing power, you can indeed shift those for your standard role-play shifts.
So let me see. I can only shift 2. One of those is going to glory, so I can't shift that. Or can I shift that one, or do I just shift it to glory?
You can you get a glory automatically for the crit, and you
Okay.
can indeed shift one to glory if you want.
Okay. Well, in that case, if I'm getting an auto glory, in that case, I just want to shift 2 of those to actually get information off of this.
Okay.
So
gain information. So starting in going in vertical order.
so would 4 be a success or failure?
The DN was 3.
Okay.
So Remy, going in vertical order. As you look around, the first thing you're looking for is a journal.
Mm-hmm.
Any kind of record of what she was thinking before she left.
Yep.
And as you look around,
He's going about it in a very almost falling back on old habits, standard operating procedure, like detective sort of method.
And one of the first things that you recall from your training is the most likely place to find something that is important to someone is where they spend the most time.
Yep.
So the place that has the most signs of wear is where you'll likely find something as important as a journal. And so you immediately check. There's a desk in the room and the table by her bed. And as you look around, what you locate is, ever the practicality, there is a what looks to have been at one point a gun drawer in the side of her bedside table where one would have hidden a pistol or something in case of attack. But instead of a pistol, there is a small leather-bound journal that would have been in its place.
Disco.
With Saris, with your Synesians, as you open your mind to the presence of warp energy or any leftover psychic phenomenon in this room, the fact that this room was once owned by a psyker leaves a lot of residue. Even though it's been years since she was in here, there is a lingering sense of strong emotions. You can almost hear ancient weeping of someone brokenhearted. You can feel the shattering of glass from something being thrown in anger. You can feel the quiet determination of someone who has made up their mind. It's a lot of jumbled information at the moment. There's only so much to glean, but with your 2 shifts, you get to ask me 2 questions that are related to this test.
Do I get the sense that do I get a sense of what kind of psyker she is? And if there was any external probing or any external influence on her actions when she still lived here before she left.
This room is permeated with her psychic residue, and most psychers have a unique trace that you can sort of get familiar with as you examine them more and more. And you're not seeing any external influence present here. As far as her level of ability, you sense that she's very powerful, if untrained, which is more dangerous, honestly. Like, the more powerful a psyker is, the more important it is that they be trained. Because that level of power attracts attention. You don't know if she'd be an alpha level psyker, but definitely at least the letters go in like Greek lettering order. At least like gamma
Alpha, beta,
level.
gamma.
Yeah, at least gamma level.
For reference, what
Delta,
level would I be
epsilon.
considered?
You'd be considered delta.
Okay.
So 1 grade down from her minimum. If she's at
Keyword.
least, she's at least 1 grade above where you are now.
Gotcha.
Trying real hard not to make an Omega level mutant joke.
I'm just like going back when I was in Bible college and studying Koine Greek. Suddenly, it's suddenly viable again.
I mean, like, Omega level psychers are a thing that exists. They're considered to be like absurd, 1 in a million, like near the Emperor level psychic powers. Most people only go to Alpha Plus. But
I was the alpha and the omega.
Something,
Anyways.
something, Jamie Braddock, something.
I was gonna say something. Well,
Proteus.
she's no something. Well, she's no Bobby Drake.
Right. No, my favorite of the
But as for her particular talents, you get a sense of telekine.
So, what I assume similar to her brother.
Her brother's a pyrokine.
Okay.
So you get the sense that she specialized more in telekinesis, whereas her brother is pyrokinetic.
Sorry, I thought her brother was telepathic because he was part of the what's
Astra
it?
telepathica.
Yeah.
That's
telepathica.
just a general term for military psychers.
Gotcha. So she's in line with me then, being telepathic.
Generally.
And
Although
then-
her powers may have changed over time, like
Yeah.
especially at the level of psyker she is, she might have more than just that in her pocket.
and then if there was any outside influence on her.
Yeah, and you did not sense, at least in here, you don't sense any.
Right. Is her dad still here, or did he step out?
He's still here. He's just
Okay.
sort of watching everything.
So yeah, so
Aristarchus,
I'm just gonna observe and not say anything for a moment.
yeah, for Aristarchus, that's a complication.
Yeah. What the fuck up?
It's a success, but it's a complication. So.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, we started at 6 glory, right? I'm assuming we go up to 7. Or sorry, 6,
Six
ruin,
wrath,
six
or
ruin.
rage.
Yeah.
Six ruin.
Yeah, we started at 5 ruin. Ruin is always the
5
number
ruin.
of players.
Right.
So because we're down
Our
Julia,
glory
it's only
always
5 this session.
resets.
Yeah.
Glory always goes back to 0, but we're at 1 now because of me.
Yeah.
Congrats.
I brained real hard.
Good job.
Love a good brain.
Don't we all?
So
They're delicious.
the
Here.
thing that you find is broken in some way. It seems like, so whatever it is that you find, and I'm curious if you have an idea, whatever it is that you find would be useful if only it weren't damaged.
Yeah, this power sword, this force sword would be great if only it wasn't broken.
Would it be conceivable in this room to find maybe it's an object or a piece of technology that might hint towards where she would have gone that has been broken because of an emotional reaction she had to or upon it?
Okay. You look behind her desk, and you find a small disc that looks to be electronic of some
Okay,
kind.
like a data
Cracked.
disk of some sort.
Of some kind.
Mhm.
Cracked. It's thicker than like a data disk. And you pull it out, and you realize it is a hololith communicator.
Mm.
The kind of thing you see in Star Wars, you know, the like
Right,
the-
yeah.
yeah.
Right. Yep. Hey, my lord, were you aware that this was in her possession at any point while she was living here?
It looks like a fairly standard hololith. Wouldn't be anything unusual. She would have had that kind of communicator if she wanted it.
I'm gonna flip it over and see if I can ascertain the damage and if it's repairable in a recoverable sense, or
It looks like it's been slammed against a wall with more than human force. Like she telekinetically threw this at the wall.
Mhm. I might be able to salvage something from it.
With my 8 successes, would I get while I'm sensing the room? Would I get any sort of emotional resonance off that?
Frustration, grief, and anger.
Again, saying nothing right now because Dad's in the room, but just
Yeah.
cataloging.
And he'll very gingerly try and take off the external casing, and a couple of the tendrils from his mechadendrite begin to try and stimulate the now sort of defunct electronic materials as he attempts to commune with the machine spirit that may have dwelt within this thing at one point.
Right.
Obentiquo apertus.
You can roll me a tech test, and I believe you get to apply your
rank.
your
I get
your rank
icons equal to my rank.
You just get straight up icons. Okay.
Yeah, I get Mm-hmm.
So whatever you roll, +2 icons.
Okay.
The difficulty is going to be 3.
All
4
right.
actually, because it's fairly busted.
Another complication, but I get 5, so I am printing ruin today, baby.
So the complication is that you have no control over what comes out next.
Awesome.
As your mechadendrite interfaces with this communicator, and some machine spirit link forms through your body, and your eye glows and outputs a hololithic transmission from within this thing's stored memory that it can no longer transmit itself because the transmitter is thoroughly busted.
Mm-hmm.
The machine spirit is using you as a conduit.
Ooh, boy.
As your eye glows and emits this holographic image in front of you, you see a familiar figure. The sort of black studded armor, the like spiked and aggressive looking armor of Tycho Mordoric, in his full hidden face gas mask, appears before you, as he says aloud to be audible to everyone in the room. The fate of your fiancé is a tragic one. And the system that forced the two of you into dangerous situations like this, that draws the ire of people that it hurt, will only continue to bring you loss and pain. You are cunning and wise. I have heard you listen to my speeches. I have seen you at my rallies. I know that you have the wisdom to see what must be done. Meet me at these coordinates, and I will show you how you can take destiny into your own hands and stop the constant pain. And then it cuts out.
Do I have the coordinates?
Yes.
Okay. That was a bit more direct than I anticipated.
What happened with her fiance again? Because I skimmed that information, but I didn't.
Her fiance, she was betrothed to the planetary governor's daughter, and it was initially a political marriage, but it was formed because the two of them had been friends, and it did seem to be a genuine romantic connection. But she was assassinated by rebel elements, people rebelling against the planetary government.
Gotcha. So naturally, we joined the rebels.
I don't know if Tycho was part of that. But
He was.
maybe, yeah. I don't think Tina would make that connection, but
Definitely was.
possible.
And regardless, it's unlikely that Janaea would know that or ever find that out.
Yep.
Until now.
But presumably, Remy, you're going to crack open that journal.
Yes.
There are a variety of notes. This seems to have been a journal that she's had for a very long time. Many years. It looks like pages have been replaced several times. More have been added. You see notes that go back to her teenage years, like early teens. But some of the more recent ones are initial frustrations with her father for setting up a arranged marriage with her so shortly after her brother was taken from her. That sort of evolve into, no, maybe there's actually something here. This is, I forgot how much I liked the name of the woman that is listed is Alexis. I forgot how much I liked Alexis and appreciated being around her. It's been so long since I had someone that I could connect with. And it transitions into a some of like genuinely sappy romantic stuff of her writing about her betrothed. And then there's a jump in dates.
I mean, I figure I'm mostly flipping through at the moment. I fully plan on taking it with me because, like 30 seconds have passed, right?
Yeah. It's and then
But
there's a jump in dates, and then it takes a much darker turn. The first page that comes up after this jump is she's dead, and nothing else. Just angry scribbles and just she's dead written over and over and over and over. And then from there, it goes into increasingly frantic and nonsensical rants about something that has frustrated her that day, or whatever nightmare she had last night, or it very rapidly becomes a downward spiral. And then there's went out to the Underhive in disguise today and heard a random person preaching from a box, talking about how the government of this planet only causes pain. It begins to catalog events of where she had gone to meet this person who never revealed their face. And when she had heard them talking, and they seemed so convinced and so fiery and so passionate about how the world is broken and it needs to be burned down and fixed and brought anew, no matter the cost. And there's her musings of, well, I've already lost everything. What else is there to pay? And then eventually there's a note of, they're throwing me out, but that's fine. I know where I'm going. And that's the last entry.
Okay.
Just waiting to see if anyone else is looking for anything else, since it seems like 2 people have found some things. Are we all here, by the way, or is anybody missing?
Yeah, everyone is here.
Yep.
Look over towards Lord Tandis.
Both Lord Malton Tandris and Jordan are here as well.
Pretenders, do you mind if I keep this for now? Might
Do
be
you think
useful.
If you think it'll be useful, then go ahead.
Thank you.
Oh, had I received any additional information from the military about Tycho, by the way?
Not yet. It hasn't been that long.
Yeah, I didn't think it had been. I was wondering because I didn't know what I missed. Turn towards them. Oh, it seems that we found some. It seems that we found some interesting and potentially useful information. Is there anything relevant that either of you can think of that might assist in investigations?
Lord Malton sort of looks like in thought for a moment.
I have a question. Is there a photo, like any sort of picture of her from back then, like a just sort of a portrait, like it's me at my graduation or something like that we can take, like to ask around for people? Have you seen? Did you see this person? However many years ago it was, they look like this.
Yeah, there is a portrait of her and someone else, who you can only surmise to have been Alexis. It is it looks like it had been a portrait of the two of them, sort of full body, side profile, their hands interlocked. She looks much better than she does now. She has a fuller figure, none of the emaciation that marks her as you've seen her previously. Her hair is still very long, free-flowing black hair, and her eyes are still this sort of brightly glowing purplish color. But she is dressed in this very practical but well-appointed outfit that is, instead of a dress, it's more like an elongated jacket, you would say. It's almost like if you took a dress and cut the front out so that there was freedom of movement for the legs, and then wore pants under it.
Mm-hmm.
It's got this very long train behind it, very like well-pointed boots, and sort of buttoned up front end, like double-breasted on the front with like gold buttons. Her hair is tied into a series of braids, and then the person across from her is dressed much more traditionally feminine, with the sort of long frilly dress with big like white lace and bright blue and gold accents, long blonde hair that's pulled back into a ponytail, bright blue eyes, and the like icon of the planetary governor on her breast, as the two of them are just sort of in a romantic pose in this portrait.
Can I take this toinette thing after Remy asks to take the journal?
Lord Malton looks at Tina and looks at the rest of the group. Mayhap better if someone else carries it. Wouldn't want to damage it.
With your permission, your lordship, and Tina, I can take a scan, and we can simply have it in reproducible form without needing to actually carry the physical object
Definitely
with
better.
us.
Okay.
And Tina, I'll have to get you a data slate so you can have your own. But we'll figure it out. Yeah.
Oh boy.
And I get everybody out of the way so I can take a photo.
Tina begins just collecting sapphic artwork.
Amazing. There's a great game called The Last of Us. I think you'll love it.
You had asked them if they had remembered everything.
Yeah, anything pertinent that they would like to share, that they feel might be relevant to share. That obviously this is my chance to get the NPCs to give us some things that the players might not have thought to ask about.
Yeah.
As Lord Tander sort of seems lost in thought for a second before every avenue that I felt would have been pertinent, I explored to the fullest extent of my abilities, but was unable to find anything. However, during the last few months before she departed, the place she would spend her time most often, outside from here, was the suborbital docking station. She went there to watch ships come and go.
Fair enough.
Is there anything in this room that says A, she's just like a fan of spaceships, or
No.
B, that she wants to get
Probably
away? She wants to fly
That's-
away.
Or find her brother.
That
Mhm.
yes, that
I mean,
that
yeah.
is where
That's what I'm assuming, but I'm wondering if there's anything else that like.
There's not a lot of like pilots or like spacefarers paraphernalia. Like a lot of the things that she seems interested in are very terrestrial, like local thrash bands. There's a fencing sword and a dueling pistol like on the wall. She seemed to have been a hand at like recreational dueling at some point.
Sword look any good?
I mean, it's a fence. It's a intentionally nerfed weapon. Like it is. It
Okay,
looks like
it's
it has.
It's a fencing.
It's
foil,
a fencing
not
sword.
not like a,
Right, yeah.
It's a
Mhm.
foil. Yeah.
This
It's
is
not-
for
it's-
this is for sports.
Well, yes,
Yeah.
but this is Warhammer 40k. Sports includes hunting down the peasantry. Okay.
Fair.
You get the sense she was never a spire hunter. She was actually a sport
Right.
duelist.
Gotcha.
Like it was meant to be entertainment. Both the sword and the sword is a foil, and the gun you're fairly certain only fires blanks.
Gotcha. Not a fighter.
I think
An athlete more than a fighter.
all right. I think that we are done here.
I'll leave that to you.
Thank you for your candor and
Hospitality, of course.
yes,
The food was very good.
we'll do what we can.
Thank you.
Appreciate it, and hope and wish you the Emperor's good fortune on your investigation. If you have any
Will be
need
in-
of us, do not hesitate to reach out.
We'll be in touch when we have answers for you.
He nods.
Are we escorted out, or do we just walk out on our own?
He will walk you to the front door himself.
Okay. Walk down
And,
the street away from the house.
As you leave, Jordan also walks out with you and sort of turns and bows to his father. And as the door shuts, he looks across the group of you. I had best return to my post and see if there is any information to be gleaned. I will transmit anything useful to you, should the requested information on Tycho be required.
Yeah, my thanks.
Really quick, Jordan, before you go, could I have a word in private?
He nods and just sort of indicates with his staff
Yep.
to a small alcove.
Step over. So I'm not making any assumptions one way or the other. But I'm just curious if there's anything that you'd be willing may know and that may be helpful, that you wouldn't necessarily be interested in divulging in front of your father or other people. That may
sort of-
help. I'm very good at keeping confidences, but anything that helps.
He sort of closes his eyes for a second and thinks, we've been apart since childhood.
Mm-hmm.
But there has not been a day that's gone by that I have not felt my connection to my twin. I sense that she is afraid and in pain.
I think that's fair to say.
I do not know how she will react to the news that I am still alive. I would hope that she senses that, but in the condition that she has been in, I cannot help but think that perhaps my existence is being intentionally clouded from her.
Almost certainly.
I don't know how she'll react.
No, neither do I. Which is why we're probably not saying it anytime particularly soon.
As soon as we meet her, hey, your brother's still alive.
No, God.
Oh no. There's
That's
there's way better ways to do it than that. Hey Mum, can we do a broadband transmission to the entire fucking planet that says, "Welcome home, Jordan Tandris, first son of the House Tandris, who's recently returned from active duty."
As Remy just finds the first fucking ship off this planet. Screw it. I'm going somewhere else.
Remy's nose
They're
just
all
starts
a lost
bleeding a
cause.
little bit because Aristarchus has looked in his general direction.
But he sort of, I don't know how she'll react.
No.
And
You're gonna be you are probably closer to than anybody I can have a civil conversation with, even having not been in touch with her for this long. I need to ask a very difficult question. What do you think are the rough odds that she can actually be pulled out of this? Brutally honest with yourself, even.
if I'm being completely honest, I think that she was stronger than I was, even in our youth. I think Father made the decision that his heart called for, but I think had he looked at it logically, even if he had decided that he needed to keep one of us home, she would have fared better than I did in the schools on Terra for the Psychers.
Stronger up here or stronger here? Because those are two very different things.
Both.
Okay.
Her will was always indomitable. It must have taken so very much to break her. And
She had so very much before she even got down. She even got down there.
But which means that it will take a lot to steer her from this course, if she has set her mind to it. But I think she has the strength to do so.
All right. We'll try. Thank you for your candor. And I will head back to the group.
Miss Blair, where did you learn how to handle play settings like that?
Seems taken aback. I just picked it up. It's not hard.
Oh gosh, because that's very impressive because there were just far too many forks. Which one? I took the biggest one and just went with that one. But the smallest fork with the 2 tines, that was really interesting. I feel like you could really like sort of that'd be a great weapon.
That's frowned upon up here.
I'm just staring off in the middle distance
Right.
while this conversation is being
Aristarchus
had.
is just looking at Blair directly, waiting for the rest of the answer.
Mhm. She doesn't say anything more.
Once we get a
Picked
good...
it up from where?
It's like that could get in a lot of crevices
about
that
when
are
I'm
really
back.
protected from like armor.
Aristarchus,
I'm just-
you and I need to have a talk some point soon, okay?
Oh, this is what's called a deflection. Yes, I understand.
No, that's what's called a threat.
No,
No,
it's
you're
not.
what's called a threat.
Oh, it's not a threat.
Threat.
I'm just saying we should talk when we get a chance. All right?
Also, threats and deflections are not necessarily different things.
This is true.
Regardless, shall
It's
we...
true. Tina's a threat, and then if you hit her in the armor and it bounces off, it's also a deflection.
Yep.
And that was a joke.
Unfortunately, it was.
Fuck me. All right, let's.
Tina, who has been wearing
Okay.
mega armor for this entire dinner, by the way.
Right, yeah.
Great.
I thought it was an
her
excellent
newly
joke,
acquired orc
Aristarchus.
mega armor.
Uh-huh.
So we go somewhere to talk.
Yes.
Sure.
We go somewhere to talk.
I'm following you, lot.
Have suggestions of locations?
I've got some new coordinates in my brain.
Not there.
Nope. That. Wait.
I don't
No.
know if that's where we should go to talk.
No.
Would I know a place where like we could get some quiet, like privacy in the area?
I mean, you've been on this planet for like 3 days.
Yes, but it's also I've been up in this section of the city for longer than Tina and Blair, and
Yeah. Honestly,
for more specifically, a place up here where we can get somewhere quiet to talk that all of us are allowed to be at.
Right, where Tina won't draw the attention of the Imperial Guard or something.
honestly, getting the orc anywhere up here is difficult. The fact that you managed to get here was largely due to the fact that you were given a specific, like, expected presence.
An invitation.
is there any place that my rogue trader banner would get us into with the orc easier?
Honestly, the suborbital space docks are a good place, not by virtue of being secluded, but by virtue of being overcrowded.
Or chatter.
It's very easy
Hide behind.
to be unheard when there is more noise.
Is that nearby, or would we have to go further out of our way to get there?
House Tandris is slightly up hive from the suborbital landing pad. You'd be heading down hive a few levels
Okay.
and then a bit east.
Yeah, that's great then. Yeah, head that way.
Mm-hmm.
Find an offloading dock with some crates we can stand behind.
Oh, that's easy enough. Plug into a local cogitator and figure out which parts are closed for repairs.
Yeah, easy enough to find.
There you go.
Right here, don't mind the tape. That's only there to make sure that the non-mechanicus stay out. You've got dispensation from yours truly.
Is that what that's for?
There is caution tape that says hazard ahead, unstable flooring, etc., etc.
It's yellow. It's a fun color.
Colors mean different things to different people, Tina.
They do. That means, hang on,
Orcs like yellow. Yellow's the big boom color.
Yeah. Yellow means explosion.
And money.
So I'm for being here
All right.
because
I will find the most secure flooring in this area for us to congregate on.
Yeah.
So
Well, I can tell you what, before you share your individual findings, that we already do know a bit of what Aristarchus stumbled upon, thanks to the recording.
Mm.
She was a significantly powerful psyker. Stronger
That's
than
fair
I
to
am
say.
now. Then, time likely has only increased, has only sharpened her edge.
Especially since she is Tycho is using her as a tool. You want your tools to get better.
Precisely. Skilled in telekinesis, likely by this point developed other skills. If she follows her twin's inclinations, she may also possess pyrokinetic abilities. There did not seem to be any lingering impression of manipulation within the room. So,
Meaning what?
meaning that when she left, when she went, while she was at the house, and while she was living there, and then when she left to follow Tycho, that was of her own will. No manipulation, no chaos, no warping.
Oh, there was manipulation, just not the manipulation you're talking about.
Yes, not psychic manipulation.
Yes.
So, what the state of her mind now, I cannot say, but at least at the time, there was no corruption causing her actions. Which is a better result than if there had been.
Now, based on what I was able to glean, I would recommend that these coordinates I have would be the site of her first meeting with Tycho.
We need to
Might
find
be
out.
worth looking into, but that's also a long time gone. So,
We need to find out what that place is before we go there.
Yes.
But yeah, we need to
Alright.
look.
I'll see what I can
into
find.
it. I mean, I think it's a pretty clear story.
Yes, the
Girl who's very powerful but vulnerable, has a bunch of really bad shit happens to her. Very understandably starts to lose grasp of reality because of it, and finds someone who radicalizes her using, frankly, very understandable. Probably didn't have to radicalize very hard.
Liam, you said that her reaction, she slammed that thing against the wall out of rage and grief. You said.
Yes.
Did I get a sense that it was just generalized rage and grief, or was rage and grief specifically directed at that message?
You wouldn't, based on the message, you wouldn't think that it was anything specific to the message, except perhaps the reference to who she'd lost.
Gotcha.
Yes.
Okay. Just want to check. I shouldn't be surprised if we were to discover, and this is something we should look into as well, that Tycho is behind the assassination.
Oh, I would not be remotely surprised by that. There is Tycho. He didn't find Tycho until after. That doesn't mean that he didn't have his hand in this. It depends on how good of a long-term planner he is.
She didn't
It
find him
seems
until
like
after,
pretty-
but he approached her. The message.
It looks like he'd been watching her for a while.
The
had
message
people
said. The
watching
message
her.
said that he saw her. She did not contact him. She went to his speeches, but he contacted her.
To be fair, I have not said what was that she went to his speeches yet.
Oh, sorry.
Oh no, he did recite that during his
Okay.
in the hologram.
Message.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I've seen you at my.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I've seen
speeches,
him
my
in
speeches.
my speeches. Yeah. But he
Yes,
made first
but-
contact.
Correct. What I'm saying is. Shit, now I don't remember what I was saying.
Sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. This is my brain, not you. I was saying she went to him after all of this stuff happened. But that doesn't, I agree, it doesn't necessarily mean that he didn't plan it and that he didn't go to places that he thought she might go to after puppet mastering. It all
Right.
depends on how much of a long-term planner he is.
Which we'll get more information
Very
of, a
good.
better idea of once we get more information from the military.
Yeah.
Did they ever?
Sorry, go ahead.
Did they ever like try and figure out who had done the assassinating?
We'll have to look into that. Seriously, you'll probably need to look into that because that's the kind of thing that they're not going to tell anyone else.
Yes.
Like if the Steel Watch were to look into that kind of stuff, for example, there's no way they get any answers.
You're in your mind, Remy, the only person on this planet, aside from maybe the governor himself, who might have actually been able to find any of that information, would be the arbitrator.
Right.
The one Adeptus Arbites that is on this planet.
Yeah. From what we've learned about Tycho so far, he doesn't necessarily seem to be very the type that is inclined to long-term planning unless all of his random scattery filtering his way through the various ganger groups was part of some inscrutable plan. Because basically he went to every ganger group, joined them for a little while, and got kicked out because he was too fucked up for even that.
So you think he's more of a reactive strategist?
I think he stumbled upon something that he was based on his background. I think he recognized this girl for what she had the potential to. He stumbled into something, realized that he hit the fucking jackpot, and then did everything he could to get this person under his thumb.
There are two different ways that it could have gone, both of which are equally viable, both of which leave him being just as much a threat as the other, honestly.
He's a threat regardless.
Yes, it could have stumbled upon an opportunity and seized an opportunity. He could be a supreme opportunist. Alternatively, if the idea is to cause discontent in order to recruit or achieve another objective, starting with subtle disruptions in heretical speeches and anarchic phrasing, going through all the gangs, exposing all of them to the thought, finding who's the most recipient and who isn't, then providing stimulus by acquiring a psyker and using them to level a portion of your home, and then repeating those rounds to see who would have been receptive but not act upon it before will now act upon it with their home in shambles.
Yep. No, you are not wrong. I think my only problem with that theory is the risk-reward ratio there is not nearly as high.
No.
Like, you risk eventually, like, he's saying stuff that is not smart, even in ganger communities.
Yes.
And you risk eventually somebody fucking killing him to avoid, or to avoid things being traced back to them.
Absolutely. Though, I imagine that one of his particular profession, the reward likely outweighs the risk. The risk is very high, but the reward is the corruption of an imperial planet.
One other thing to consider with the whole Tycho's plans and destabilization and whatnot, you've got him co-opting a scion of a very well regarded upper hive house, and I'm no tactical expert, but I feel in the proper situation, that's a very good card to have in your back pocket if you can utilize that. Not only, obviously, most of his efforts have been at destabilizing the lower spire, but then you reveal that your most powerful ally comes from Aus Tandris in an undeniable fashion, and suddenly you've split the upper spire too.
Absolutely.
So that might be something to think about. Also, these coordinates are to an old temple down in the lower mid-hive.
What kind
Imperial
of temple?
You would
GM?
know that it's definitely not a temple to the Omnissiah, which leaves only
Right.
one temple. There's a temple
Right.
to the God Emperor.
Right. Likely God Emperor's temple, because it's certainly not one of the Mechanicus orders.
When you say old, I assume you mean no longer in operation.
Yeah, it is in
Kind of
records.
derelict, yeah.
It is in records. It is marked as abandoned.
Right.
We'll want to, at the very least, scout that place out before we go anywhere near it.
Absolutely.
Because
So-
that sounds like a place to die.
I mean, yes.
It might be in the name of actually it is in the name of a saint, but ultimately it is of the Ministorum faith.
Right.
An abandoned Ministorum temple is the most appropriate, I would think, both base of operations and trap for one of Tycho's ilk.
All right. Well, where to next, boss?
Well, Remy, who would you suggest in the city might be able to acquire the information? I might be able to inquire to as for the information regarding the assassination.
I repeat the thing that Shawnee had said. That is a term that passed in this year and out this one, even as I tried to grab on in between.
Just doing the blinking.
So either, if not literally the planetary governor and their house,
which no,
then most likely the arbitrator.
Yes, the arbitrator.
The not of the planet technically, of the hive city, but other hive cities are so far on the other side of the planet.
It's functionally the arbitrator of the planet.
Yeah, there is, as far as anyone who took civic history in this planet knows, there is a single Adeptus Arbites arbitrator on each hive city in the planet.
Right.
The other ones are so far off, this is basically the one.
The arbiter? I'm going to leave that to you.
Where do I know where I would find the arbiter?
The arbitrator for the planet is probably operating out of Steel Watch HQ, which is like at the very bottom of the upper hive. It's basically it and a lot of its fortifications serves as a barrier between the upper and mid hive.
We have to pass through the Steel Watch headquarters on the way back down. So I'll stop in and offer a query on our way.
Do we have to?
It's the barrier between the upper and lower hives, so
you can theoretically avoid it. You don't have to pass through there.
The way I normally would go if I have to.
Yeah. It's sort of like it's positioned in the most obvious thoroughfares that head between the upper and mid hive, but you can always go around it. Like, the city's massive.
What I mean is, once we get to a certain point, I can go that way while the rest of you take whatever back alley elevators you'd like to get back down.
That sounds amazing to me.
Oh, are we going to break into some derelict tunnel lifts?
I mean, we're gonna use some ones that that we generally know exist that I use. I don't. You're making it sound much more exciting than it is.
I feel like frequently, Remy, you make things sound a lot less exciting than they could be.
Because usually our things are a lot less exciting than they seem.
And thus, between the two of you, we have a happy medium. Let's go. So let us, while I speak with the Arbiter, continue on a few levels. I'll catch up with you, and then we'll go establish some plan for scouting out the locations that we've got. What did you find in the journal? Do you need more time to go through it, Remy?
I mean, it's basically kind of what I said. He ran it. I'm gonna look through more because there's only so much time. But
if you like, I could digitize it, and then we could both be looking through it at the same time.
I think we're probably fine.
All right. I don't want to step on your toes, Remy.
I'm more concerned about, and I'm not saying that I'm not saying that you
Are
would
you
or
worried?
could.
Are you worried that Tygo's going to capture me and pull out my brain bits, and then he's going to know everything that we know?
I mean, I'm worried about that anyways.
I wasn't until you brought it up, actually.
It's important to have
weren't?
contingencies, Man Martinos.
Well, no, because I had assumed that I assumed that, like most Mechanicus, you had a data detonator in your brain already.
I have not gotten one of them installed yet.
Ah,
Great, awesome. No, I am more.
I'll put that on the shopping list.
You were going to stay very close to me.
I'm
That's
more
right. You
shocked
wanted to
that
have a
nobody's
conversation.
been worried about this before now.
assumptions are being made.
I assumed that if they tried to take you hostage, you would just blow your brains out.
Apparently, that's too much of an assumption to make. He does.
I am
he
more
does talk
concerned
funny for a
about-
Mechanicus.
I am more concerned about, and again, not saying that you would do something or fail to do something that would cause this to happen, but we digitized this journal. First of all, we did not ask the good Lord for permission to do that.
Oh, we need to ask the God Emperor.
I'm shut up, Saris. Second of all,
Wait, that was a joke.
Lord Tandris, you utter knob.
No, that's the orcs.
Right.
Knob's a good thing, according to Tina.
Yeah.
Tina over here.
Mhm. It's a compliment.
Second of all, the off chance that someone were able to get their hands on that information and then it would spread beyond us.
All right.
But no, that it's a pretty straightforward story. Psychic girl has bad shit happen, starts to go nutty, goes down into the underhive, finds Tycho and becomes radicalized. And then when she gets thrown out, she's okay with that because she already has a plan.
Oh.
That's the gist.
While we're planning our scouting mission, then we should just comb through that for any other locations that might be of interest.
Jade is sorry, that is the correct name, right?
Janaea.
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 Janaea. Janaea says that it's not going to be easy. He does think it's possible.
Oh, Jordan is the
Jordan.
brother.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Jordan.
In other words, mine was halfway in between.
Yeah. J and J. They are twins. They are named like twins.
Jordan. Jesus.
That They both start with J and have a double N in the middle.
Yep.
My
Yep.
my wife is a twin, and her twin is named Greg, and her name is Katie. So I don't know what you're talking about.
I mean,
Oh no, I've run into this
I know.
at
I know.
daycares.
I've
They
definitely-
think
yeah.
it's
it is
so
a thing.
cute.
It is a thing. Absolutely.
Yeah.
this is well. So here's a fun story. In my family, there are no. Well, no, my sister has twins, but there is me. There is a Josh. There is a Jason.
What's up?
There are so many J's in my fucking family. Anyways, Jordan, yeah, thinks that it is there. It won't be easy, but it is doable.
If we can turn her against Tycho, that would be the principal
be
lever
ideal.
that we'd want to press upon.
It may be a long shot, but if we could prove that Tycho had her fiance killed, that would do it.
Even if
That
it's-
would be the way.
honestly, even if it's not true, if we could fabricate that information, that would also be a way.
I'm pretty sure it's true.
I mean,
Yep.
it makes
Yeah, but-
a lot of sense. But
What's true and what's true in this case, Saracen's right. What's true doesn't matter. It's what we can prove, whether it is true or not.
we have
Oh,
to
and
what
to
we
an
can
extent, it
what
isn't
we
even
can
what we can
convince.
prove. Or, you're right, because, I mean,
Yeah.
speaking as a member of the Biologus, oddly enough, until you've had the proper augments, most people make decisions based on emotion, not logic. Which is why the Empire is in such a terrible shape sometimes.
Yeah, that's definitely why. So, but no, yes,
Aristarchus takes Remy's last statement at face value.
no detection of sarcasm there at all.
Finally, somebody else who gets it.
But yeah, it's what we can convince her of.
But if we don't have to make it up, then it's more convincing. So that sounds like our next steps.
Sometimes
yes.
it's
I
not
can
whether we
ask-
can make it up, it's whether we can get proof or not, or whether we just have to rely on our ability to make her believe. We should not just jump in with, hey, hi Janae, did you know your brother's alive? Or did you know that Tycho killed Alexis or anything like that? Weirdly, I can
Okay.
remember that name, but I cannot remember anyone else's.
No, but if it comes down to it, there's very few forces of propaganda as efficient and expert at fabricating whatever story they'd like than the Empire.
Oh, also, speaking of things
You
to
are
believe,
not wrong.
Mayor Martinos, I've got a recording that you should take a look at, probably on your way to talk to the Arbiter. I'll send it to your datapad. And Saris will receive a effectively cell phone video of an orc with most of its brain exposed to the elements and warp lightning shooting out of it, having a raving match with Tina about lots of omens, about red spiky boys that are getting hunted by tin boys and vice versa, and squats coming from the galaxy center. And Saris has a recording of all the shit that Wargmuck or whatever their name was delineated for us down in the
Wurzad.
Wurzad. Yes, I was close. I had the right first letter.
Looks like this is
Wizard
where
the Weird.
looks like this is where I'm going to be breaking off. I will see if this will break my brain on the way to the Avatar.
I would offer assistance, but I just realized that character names is already with her. So no, I will not. Okay.
Oh, Laurel.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Mhm.
Laurel. It's probably already bodyguarding. I would
Laurel
offer
is
because
not gonna
I'm a
become-
great bodyguard.
Laurel is not going to be coming
Look
with
at
me
my cool armor.
because I don't need. As effective as a bodyguard as Laurel is, having an Eldar with me when I approach the Adeptus Arbitrius
Do you want me to go with?
No,
You
You're
Or could be
coming with
worse.
us.
I'll be fine on my own.
Well, we might need you to break in the elevator for us, Tina. Need somebody with muscles.
Oh, okay.
And she not only has muscles, she has power armor now.
Yep. Mhm.
Yeah, but that's not very fun. The elevator can't really fight back. I fought an elevator once.
While Tina's
and
distracted with the thought of
it
fighting an elevator, I
won.
walk off.
I fought an elevator once and it won. So
It won.
your statement that it couldn't fight back was a lie then.
Yeah, but I beat it. Then I went back, and what happens is if you rip all of the electronic bits out. See, that's one of the principles of the
Mork is the
Mork.
cunning one,
Mork.
Gork is the fighty one.
work is you can do all the thinking you want, but eventually maybe there's something you haven't thought of, and maybe the easiest way is to just pull out the electronic bits.
So, Miss Blair, you said you wanted to have a conversation.
As yes, Tina has applied the cunning of the orc god Mork. Take your extra wrath.
As I
Yes. But
as I walk away, I just very softly to myself. It's a wonder that the city is still standing with Tina on the rampage against elevators.
So, yeah, what can I do for you, Miss Blair?
she'll look at the other two. Maybe just the two of us. All right. Conversation.
Sure,
All right.
I'll keep track of this one.
All right.
I'll keep track of him.
They're keeping track of each other. Who's keeping track of them?
Sorry, DM, do we want to go on a
Let me
break
take
because
care
this
of
might not be a short conversation?
Yeah. So let's,
Sorry, I don't want to hold us up.
yeah. So it's 9:30 now. So let's take our quick break.
All right, if you're watching live, please stay tuned for these commercial messages. Remember, when we take our break, you take your break. So stand up, stretch your legs, move around, do whatever you do, and we'll be back in just a few minutes. We're back. A dinosaur story.
A dinosaur story.
Story.
Mara just got in a story.
But we rejoin with Blair and Aristarchus.
All right. So I want to share something with you
All right.
that I'm not ready to share with everyone else yet. I'm still, I like everyone, well, most everyone that we're working with. But there's a difference between liking and trusting someone.
Aristarchus gets very serious.
I trust you.
All right.
How familiar are you with the noble houses?
I mean, I've got a decent listing of them and a little bit, but today is the closest direct interaction that I think I've ever had.
Well, House, please let me know if I'm saying this correctly, William. House Gantu.
Ganto.
Ganto. Dang it, sorry. Say
It's
it wrong
French.
every time. House Ganto.
Hmm?
The Lord of House Ganto is my father.
Is this don't mean me making assumptions, but that would be the second daughter of a noble house in that wound up in the Lower Hive.
Well, it's a little complicated. See, I actually started in the lower half. So my mother is not his wife.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, I grew up with my mom. And she raised me in the lower hive. I enjoyed it. When I was around 13, she was killed. But nothing, not assassinated or anything. She just got overpowered in a fight.
All right.
And my father, who did know about me, and he sent money, made him feel better about himself. He decided he was going to do the right thing when my mother died and raise me the right way, like a proper lady.
Not the direction
And
I thought this conversation was going to go.
raised me alongside my half siblings.
Mm-hmm.
And, his wife and children were so thrilled to have me there.
That's very nice of them.
She stared
Oh,
at
this
him
is
for a minute. That's called sarcasm.
Nope. Yeah. Sorry. No, not always, but I understand now.
All right.
Were you older or younger than the other children there?
Kind of in the middle.
All right.
I was closer to his daughter's age. Neres. Neres. Dang it! I'm sorry. I'm not getting any of these names right. Neres.
Neres is our droid friend from the Star Wars game.
Best no. Neres. Ganto.
Same one as Lord Tandris was speaking of.
That's her.
That, for the record, is how a hyperspace jump goes very wrong.
In fact, and she will take out a chain that is tucked under her outfit, and there is, between two sheets of glass, a little drop of blood. This is her blood.
All right.
I keep it as a reminder that one day I'm gonna kill her.
Well, that simplifies matters a bit, because otherwise there might have been a conflict of interests. And once the drop of blood comes out and is identified as blood, you would probably see his mechadendrite just sort of twitch reflexively, and he sort of shoves it back.
And she'll tuck it back in. I spent several years with them. And then one day, she figured out how to get rid of me. She started being all friendly with me and said she was going to take me spire hunt. Now, I didn't know what this was. I figured we're just going to go to the Underhive, kill some animals or something, some creatures. I didn't know. She took me down there, and I was the one they were hunting.
Interesting. You're all right.
I got away.
Sure.
I ran into some people from the Wastelanders at that point. That's when I joined them. And they took me in as one of them. After a while, I decided I did want a family of my own of sorts. And I started to put my gang together. I named it after my mom. Her name was Hart. And after a while, I tried hunting. Sorry, her name. Nyrese, thank you. I tried hunting Nyrese down. That's where I got, she points to the blood sample. But she roughed me up pretty well. And shortly after that's when I met you. I needed someone to heal me.
So that's what... Okay. Well, that sort of puts a light on the whole situation then.
You were the first person not from the Underhive to show me any form of respect. And you showed all my girls respect as well.
Well, yeah. I mean, you're people that sometimes need help, and there's nothing... I mean, yeah.
I count you as family. It's part of the reason I've been so protective of you. Please let me know if I go overboard. I know I can coddle some of the new girls sometimes. I get a little overprotective.
Well, as far as that goes, there's a thing to be said about invasive species in different biomes and where they find themselves, and sometimes it helps to have somebody with a greater understanding of a natural environment when you're stepping outside your normal operating theater. So, yeah, I think if I'm going to be in the areas that you have better understandings of, then me following your lead is not exactly untoward.
You're doing real well. I mean, there are a few things.
Well, thank you. I was thinking I was doing pretty well myself, so that's nice to have confirmation of that.
You could leave shorter messages.
Well, but when he spits out a burst of binary that is, the best I'll say for it is that it is very brief. I feel like it just doesn't come across right.
But when the person you're sending a message to could be potentially not having a lot of time on their hands or in the middle of a fight or something, we can't listen to like a 3-hour message, as kind as they are.
That's fair. No, I understand.
You need to try to make it brief.
All right.
And
It's a very good.
Everybody else just needs to learn to speak binary.
Right. It's a very good statement. Yeah, I'll make sure to remember that. Mhm.
and when someone doesn't answer your question immediately
Mhm.
or tries to deflect it, don't keep asking. Don't keep digging. There's a reason they're not answering you.
I mean, all right.
Just trust me on this.
I think I can do that. I mean, I know I can always trust you, but I mean, with this one specifically on the actually changing my normal, I think you understand what I'm saying.
Yes, I do.
Okay. So, we need to kill your half sister.
Yes, I
I
would
will
like to kill my half sister.
All right. Well, I will put my not insignificant intellect to that solution. I think we may need to try and get some information out of her first, but the killing can definitely
And
be incorporated.
I'll tell the others that bit of information when it becomes relevant.
I was gonna say
I'm still getting a feel for everybody right now.
Yeah, no, and like you said, you weren't ready for everybody to know this, so I will not share any of this information with anybody else.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And then I guess they'll meet up with the others.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, and Aristarchus is uncharacteristically quiet after this. But yeah, no, just follows you back to meet up with everybody else. Who presumably are respectively smoking and punching something.
Probably.
Not unlikely.
So, where are the four of you headed while Saris is headed into Steel Watch HQ?
Good question.
Let's look when you guys come back. Are we good?
Yeah, we're good.
All right. Well, let's head downstairs.
All right.
I assume I know several ways to get.
Oh yeah, like this city is massive. There are many, many ways to get up and down.
Yep. I will just go to take everybody to one of them. And
Crack open an elevator and go down a few levels, I guess.
yeah, no, yeah. I'm thinking beyond that. I don't know, thoughts?
Sorry, thoughts on what?
Where are we going? Are we, you know what? Let's not split this up too much. Let's just go to where Saris is gonna come out and we can meet her there.
All right.
So, meanwhile, Saris,
Meanwhile,
you march your way into Steel Watch HQ.
we'll watch the video as I go on my way there before I get there, just to catch myself up on whatever the fuck that was about.
And yeah, you it's hard to interpret, but it looks like an orc psyker delivering some kind of rambling prophetic insight to Tina. A lot of it is in orc slang, so it's hard to really translate, especially because you're not Ordo Xenos. But you suspect that possibly going over the information with Tina, there's a lot of prophetic insight here, and depending on how trustworthy orc psychers are, there's some kind of thing that is dangerous and spiky, which, from your vague understanding, spiky tends to be orc slang for chaos oriented. because Chaos Warriors tend to have a lot of spikes on them.
I will after watching it. I will send a message to Aristarchus that just says, Aristarchus, could you please work on a low common translation of this orcish fever dream?
Can do, boss.
Or is it low gothic. Did I say low gothic or did I say low common?
You said low
Common.
common.
Low
But it's
gothic.
low
We know what you
Low
mean.
Low
gothic.
gothic. Mm.
Yeah. Oh, I thought of something important. We need to get me a data slate.
Yeah.
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 For
It's like
great purposes.
I am not going to waste my precious brain power translating this for myself when I have a mechanicus that can do it for me.
I
Especially
really
a
hope that
mechanicus who's-
Aristarchus just turns to Tina and is like, Tina, what does this mean? Blah.
That's brain power I don't have to expend.
But with that done, you march your way into Steelwatch HQ. And as you go, you are basically walking into a gun fortress. Like as you look around,
Very
you can
gun
see like massive like turrets around big reinforced walls with plenty of like barbed wire and spike strips, and there are like autocannon turrets and like heavy gun emplacements all around the walls that protect Steelwatch HQ. As you look around, you see members of the Steelwatch sort of patrolling. As you go, the Steelwatch is outfitted in, as their name implies, primarily steel gray. Most of their armor is iron colored, just like various forms of like straight unpainted metal, or at least not significantly painted. And they tend to carry what look like surplus las guns and combat shotguns, like very, very much like discount military. This is very much slightly more regimented than the PDF. But as you sort of walk around, anyone who would approach you, you can sort of wave off with the rogue trader manner, and the few people who don't take that for an answer will take the Inquisition symbol for an answer as you just sort of walk your way through.
Yeah, no, I definitely feel like there's a scene of like walking up to the like to a reception desk and stating that I'm here to see the arbiter, and then like getting an attempted brush off, and then just the eye patch comes off and flops down on the desk on whatever paperwork they're looking at, symbol up, and just the repeated statement of I'm here to see the arbiter.
And as you say that, and the individual manning the desk sort of looks both flustered, surprised, and mildly terrified, because anytime this symbol shows up on any of their paperwork, it usually means something bad is happening. A voice from coming in from a further in door calls out, "Well, before you see the arbitrator, you are going to have to answer what an Inquisition agent is doing on my world."
And look towards the voice.
And you look over, and you see an individual who is presumably high-ranking member of the Steel Watch, maybe even the Watchmaster from what little briefing you've read. Dark skin, like a sort of almost like a parchment brown kind of, like with sort of truffle black hair and like light brown eyes, dressed in form-fitting steel articulated plates, presumably plasteel, highly advanced metals, with like a waist cape that sort of drapes around to like mid thigh, and a single shoulder cape over the left shoulder. There is a bolt pistol on their right hip, and they have what looks to be an expensive cigar that they're lighting up in their mouth as they step down. Um, the shoes that they're wearing are like heavy steel advanced boots, but they seem to have a bit of a heel to them, which is interesting until you realize that the heel ends in what looks to be a retractable spike, which is likely intended for like A, punching through metal objects with a foot, or B, allowing them to walk up sheer surfaces if they need to.
You said this looks like more like the Watchmaster and less like the Arbiter?
Yeah, it looks more like
Basically,
a high-ranking member of the Steel Watch.
So could I make a leadership test to determine the exact statement that I would need to do to cow this individual in the fewest number of words?
Roll me leadership.
Would I get a rank bonus for my inquisitorial
I
ability?
mean, you've already flashed it, so yeah.
Okay, cool. Let me look at that power real quick. Plus rank bonus
You can
dice.
add
So
plus rank bonus, dice.
So +2. Roll.
Hmm?
4 successes.
You get the sense this is not someone you're going to cow immediately.
Yeah, no, but like I guess rather than cow, but like the most efficient way to eliminate this obstacle, as it were.
As you're looking at it, as you're looking at them, you get the sense that this is someone who is used to being in charge. This is someone who does not do well when people inhibit their authority, which likely means they have a frustrating relationship with the arbitrator, because the arbitrator has more authority than any local law enforcement, no matter how high ranking.
Right.
Which likely means that the easiest and fastest way to get them to do what you want is to answer questions directly and show respect for their office, even if you are someone who is of higher station than they are.
With that role, would I identify what their specific title is?
This is the Watchmaster.
Okay.
This is the person in charge of the Steel Watch in this city.
So, is there a name tag?
You sort of comb through your brain for information that you would have read on your trip to prepare yourself. This is Watchmaster Jared.
Well, as I'm picking up the eye patch and putting it back on, what time is it relative? Like morning or evening?
It's afternoon.
Afternoon, Watchmaster Jarrett, you said?
Jared. Jerrod.
Jared, yeah. Afternoon, Watchmaster Jared. I'm here hunting. Specifically, I am here hunting.
It is evening because you just had dinner. Yeah.
Evening, Watchmaster Jared. I am here specifically hunting heretics, and am in need of assistance from the Arbiter.
Well, that is sort of what the Inquisition does, but what I'm more curious about is what brings, if my eyes don't deceive me, based on the accoutrement you bring with you, what brings a psyker and a member of the Inquisition specifically to our doorstep? I can see that power lines aren't just a power cell.
No reaction on the face. The Ordo Malleus takes potential demonic incursion or the preparation thereof very seriously.
All right. So, I'm going to take you to the arbitrator, and I'm going to be present because whatever threats you're dealing with are threats to my world.
Fair enough.
Follow me.
I will follow.
And they turn and sort of walk
I'll
off. You
stop. I'll start to follow. Turn. Look back at the desk jockey. You should excuse yourself to clean up, and then follow.
Amazing.
There's it's very easy to follow the clicking of Jared's heels because they are very crisp.
Yep.
As they walk down the hall, they lead you to a very large and ornate set of doors. The individual you're about to be meet is to be addressed as Arbitrator Justine, and no other titles or names. She will either arrest you or shoot you if you do anything that even remotely crosses against anything in the passages of the Book of Judgment that she happens to have memorized in that particular moment. Just, you're not an actual Inquisitor, you're an agent. I've seen that symbol before. Mind yourself if you don't want to get hurt.
I'll simply nod.
I'd recommend introducing your business as quickly and succinctly as possible.
What was the idea?
And he pushes the door open and steps inside.
Justina, you said?
Justine.
Justine. I'll follow
There's a lot of
inside.
J names in this
Yeah,
planet.
a lot of J names. J names very popular on this particular planet.
Apparently.
All right, follow inside.
So you follow inside, and the interior of this place is musty is probably the best way to describe it. There is the constant smell of old parchment. And as you look around, you realize that the entirety of this chamber's walls are lined with books, and they all are the same book. Volume after volume of the Book of Judgment, which is, for those unfamiliar, the Book of Judgment is the book that contains every single law in the entirety of the Imperium of Man. This library is probably well out of date, because for most people, 100 new volumes are written of the Book of Judgment every day. Which includes redactions of old laws, additions of new ones, variations by planet to planet. The Book of Judgment is ever expanding, and every arbitrator has to memorize as much of it as they possibly can, or at the very least, have as up-to-date a library of the book as they can, because every arbitrator is judge, jury, and executioner.
You'd think they'd get like a subscription service, some sort of digital, access pass. The Arbitrator Monthly.
Amazing.
Well, they do, but you also want to have the ones on the shelf just to be impressive.
Sure, yeah.
And standing at a desk, apparently poring over the latest volume that they have gotten access to of the Book of Judgment, is Arbitrator Justine. You see a stern-faced woman, square of jaw, with hazel eyes, this black and gold trimmed body armor with a mostly closed-faced helmet that just sort of leaves the visor is up, but when it closes, it would primarily just leave the lower jaw visible. And there's like a mic attachment on the visor that would presumably link to nearby loudspeakers and allow their voice to be heard over any nearby comm systems.
Yep.
There is a shotgun leaning up against the desk and a bolt pistol laying on top of it, as well as a massive stun mace, a shock mace, sort of off to one side. As you enter, she looks up and Watchmaster Jared, I don't recall calling for you or asking for any additional guests at the moment. To which the Watchmaster nods. Yes, arbitrator, but as it turns out, even you walk to the tune of the Inquisition. I have an inquisitorial agent here with information and the request.
Oh,
And she sort of she arches an eyebrow at the choice of phrase and looks at you. Report.
Justine again. I'm sorry, name's bad.
Arbitrator Justine.
Arbitrator Justine. I am Inquisitorial Acolyte Ceres Artinos, serving at the behest of Inquisitor Gerfried Eckhart of the Order of Malleus. We are here on planet investigating activities that are heretical in nature and may lead to demonic infestation or incursion, and I'm hoping to attain some assistance in an investigative manner, of which I've been told you are the singular expert on the planet.
She nods and sort of stands up from the desk. You've heard correctly. Name your question.
I'm looking into the assassination of one Alexis, daughter of the planetary governor. And I will spit out the date that we learned it happened on, or relative time. And I'm attempting to ascertain if there's any connection to one what is it, Trader Militarum?
Yeah, Trader Militarum.
One Trader Militarum agent, Tycho, last name, which I've also forgotten.
Morderic.
Tycho Morderic, who has been operating in the Underhive of the city for some time now.
She sort of looks. You see her eyes roll down and to the right, which is a commonly held belief to be a sort of natural eye motion when one is recalling information. And she sort of begins to recite. Alexis Ferrum, daughter of Governor Lorik Ferrum, known to have previously been a well-known public figure speaking out against the ills of those who oppose the Imperium and performing all manner of public outreach to improve the standing of the Imperium with the common folk of the city. Assassinated on date as part of a rebel insurgency aiming at striking against the governor himself. It is believed that she threw herself in the line of fire when guns were pointed at the governor's direction, though some would argue primarily in more conspiratorial circles that she was the primary target, as she is more of a well-respected public figure than her father ever was.
Were there any leads or credible investigation results towards the gunmen or those behind them?
That investigation is still ongoing. Even now, years later, I have not closed that file because I have not been satisfied with the results that the Steel Watch have been able to bring forth. However, there are, at present, over 100 active cases that demand my attention. I have not been able to see all of them through to fruition. However, rebel agents that had been acting were unlikely to have been able to do so on their own. There speaks of significantly more organization than they individually possessed, as well as knowledge and forethought of routes and access and escape that would have required someone with extreme tactical acumen and insider knowledge of the environments that they would be engaging.
I'm going to rattle off in response to that, I'm going to rattle off every major incident that I have been witness to since arriving on planet that I know has been, or I know or heavily suspect has involved Tycho as the primary antagonistic entity, which hasn't been many, but has been more than two.
Yes.
And then, following that listing of events, is there any connection that you could draw between these specific handful of events from the knowledge that you possess of it, if you possess any, that might tie a similar perpetrator to them all?
We've seen X number of what I'd only have 2 dimes. That's still a lot more than it should.
Yeah, exactly. Like, because I'm seeing
have
some
2
similarities,
dimes.
but
I'd have
But it's
2
still
dimes.
weird that it's happened twice.
Yeah, which isn't a lot, but it's still weird that it's happened twice.
yeah.
And she sort of thinks for a second. All acts were perpetrated by individuals who seemingly have no greater organizational ties. Individuals appear to be drawn together from common folk of the Imperium, all of whom seem to the only unifying thing that draws them all together being a rebel distrust and dislike for the organized running of the Imperium, a seditious bent that added that each of them was looking to overthrow the current government to install a new one. Iconoclasm is the primary connecting factor.
I will then describe everything I know of Tycho in detail to her, leaving out his connection to the daughter of House Tandris, and then follow that up with this additional information. Do you believe it possible or likely that this Tycho to be the individual coordinating the events behind all of these cases, including the assassination?
I find that the probability is favorable to the outcome that you suggest, though I would require significantly more evidence to render any sort of judgment on that matter.
Absolutely. Circumstantial evidence is only circumstantial.
However, you have given me an increased level of interest that will likely see this investigation move to the front of my queue.
I am actively pursuing the investigation on my own ends, as an agent of the Inquisition. I'm working with the... what's the name of the Imperial Guard regiment?
It is the Ferrum 519th.
I'm working with the Ferrum 519th as far as information gathering on the subject of Tycho, and would like to request, as well as with a agent of the Mechanicus, assisting my squad directly. I would like to request informational assistance from the Arbiter and the Steel Watch, if possible.
She nods for a second. Roll me a
Leadership.
roll me a persuasion test.
Persuasion. All right, cool. I was hoping for leadership, but persuasion is not bad. But I get my bonus as well. It is a social
in this
skill.
particular case, yes, you are indeed using your symbol for
2. I'm going to spend a wrath for 4.
4. Okay.
Nice.
She nods a bit. The scope of available cooperation is limited, as much documentation is still classified, especially for ongoing investigations, and nothing short of an official Inquisitor's edict would override such classifications, but an amount of informational assistance can be provided.
That's all I ask. Should it arise to the situation where I would need to acquire an edict from my master, I'm afraid at that point it might be too late to save the planet.
Well, if we all do our duty for the Emperor, then we shall face down whatever threats you have found and overcome them in his grace.
By the light of the Emperor.
Is there anything else I can provide you immediately?
I, there are 3 bolt pistols in the room. If there are any spare munitions that you might be able to spare, that would be useful. But otherwise, information is all I need.
Roll me a requisition test.
What's the requisition test again?
Influence.
Influence.
Just influence. And I have no wealth, so it's just a 1. Is it influence test or social test?
Yes, technically it is.
Do I get my 2?
You technically can in this case because it does apply.
1 and a complication.
So 3 total.
No, complication is a 1. It just provides bonus dice. It doesn't provide icons.
I'm gonna reroll that 2.
Okay.
I'm gonna reroll that 2 just in case for my last wrath.
Hey!
And
Nice.
complication.
Hang on a moment. Let me judge that versus the rarity and value of weapons you're looking for.
Specific,
the-
like she asked for like just extra munitions, but
Yeah.
them knowing that she's a psyker, like if they have a force sword available, I'll take it.
It seems unlikely.
Seems unlikely, but
This was the mechanicus to be like, can you take this sword? It's experimental. We don't know what it does.
Right?
Please report back.
Oh no, the Mechanicus does not do experimental. Generally.
That's fair.
what are you talking about? How we got the Primaris Marines?
Yeah, Call does experimental specifically, and nobody else.
But Asadius Cole.
So you, what weapon are you using right now?
Right now I've got a force staff and a bolt pistol. And carapace armor.
She looks you up and down, looks at the bolt pistol on your hip, and reaches under her desk, and yeah, that'll do. Pulls out a magazine, opens it, looks at the contents. I'm running low myself, and I'll need to restock soon, but you can have what's left of this, she says. She tosses a magazine to you.
Catch. Inspect.
You're holding a half magazine of Dragonfire bolt rounds.
How much is in a half
Fancy
magazine?
bullets.
That sounds fancy.
Normally, when you load a special type of ammunition into a weapon, it lasts until you expend the reload, which is to say, you use the salvo rating or you suffer a complication that causes the gun to run out of ammo.
Yeah.
In this case, you will get 3 shots
Okay. So
before the weapon runs out of ammo when you load the Dragonfire bolts.
also we got my bolt pistol got generalized, didn't it? So it doesn't have Mechanicus symbols or anything on it.
Yeah, it's just a standard bolt pistol.
Yeah. All right. I'll take a look at it. And my thanks, Abada.
It does, however, have a tag on it that says "if lost." If lost, please return to
Aristarchus Dactyl.
Arbiter Justine.
Ordo Biologus. And for listeners, Dragonfire Bolt rounds gain the spread trait, and it ignores defense bonuses from cover.
I turned my bolt pistol into a shotgun.
A flamethrower shotgun, specifically.
Special issue bolt rounds sporting hollow cores that explode in gusts of superheated gas. The results ignite flesh and make a mockery of cover and fortifications with engulfing flames.
Cool.
Putting a note on this: use 3 shots. Use sparingly.
Right?
or all at once.
Basically, they're even more explosive than typical bolt rounds and explode in a burst of fire when they hit something.
Have my thanks, Arbiter Justine? Justine, right? Yeah.
Yes.
I'll make sure that these are put to good use against the demon and the heretic.
You walk in the Emperor's light, and good fortune on your investigation.
Nod. Sharp heel turn. Nod to the Watchmaster. See myself out.
So, the rest of you find a place to post up and presumably wait for Saris to return.
Yup.
Yep. Just
Uh-huh.
like right next to the I feel like unless people suggest a word, like just like right next to where the exit's gonna be. Like here's the door, here's us.
Yeah.
Here's the
I like this
here's the
plan.
steeple.
You just like
Open
walk
it up. Here are all
past
the
and
people.
we're like, you just walk past and we're like, hey,
Saris, you start to leave out of the common channels, and once you have gotten out of sight of the fortifications of Steelwatch HQ, the next turn that you make and head out a door, you are greeted by the rest of the team.
there is.
Well, I've got some good news. Based on the description by our good arbiter, while there's no definitive evidence at the moment, it is very likely that the assault was coordinated by Tycho, and possibly that it was meant to kill Alexis. And I will describe, I'll basically relay the information that I gained, as it was described to me. The email matches with the assault on with the previous assaults that we suspect he's behind.
So that's bad, because that means he's like cunning enough to
It still doesn't necessarily rule out.
think.
It doesn't necessarily rule out him being an opportunist and taking advantage of the fact that Alexis was betrothed to the scion of House Tandis, but either way, it is the leverage we were looking for. We just have to be able to prove it. Enough for, what's her name?
Janaea.
Enough for Janaea, at least.
All right.
We will be getting additional.
Yay.
We will be getting additional informational support from the Steelwatch and from the Arbiters. They will contact me with information as they gain it, hopefully. So, no physical backup. If it gets to that point, as I said to them, we may already be in danger, but that will at least allow us to continue operating somewhat covertly. I say somewhat, and as I say somewhat, I say gesturing towards Tina and Laurel.
All right. Well, so next direct point of investigation then.
So we have a look.
Boss?
We have a church that we need to plan on scouting out, and were you able to find any more information from that journal while you were waiting, Remy?
Not yet.
Hmm.
Oh, sorry. That's me. That's not Remy. Remy does not yawn in the middle of that.
I feel like Remy is too keyed up 24/7 to ever yawn.
Unless it's for effect.
Unless it's for effect. But like any other time, yawning is just a way to die without being aware of what's going to shoot you.
Pretty much. Welcome to the Underhive.
What time is it in game? Because didn't we just have dinner?
Yeah, it's getting
Yeah.
late in the evening.
In the evening. We should rest, but
Where?
That's right. The location you have for your girls would not be a good place for me to go, as I understand it.
No, you can't go there.
You could always go to.
I could try and find us a reasonably structurally secure maintenance tunnel.
I was going to say we could always
We
go
do.
to the Mechanicus Chapel.
Or if y'all want to just school up there, yeah. Have I gotten any updates from the tech priest on getting an expedition down to the hive to set up the
Not yet, but it's been
outreach?
less than a day.
Okay, right, yeah, no, I figured it hadn't been much time at all, so it made sense. Not.
Anyone who wants to try and think of particular places can roll me awareness or scholar.
Ooh.
Sure.
We do not have. I do not have room for you all to stay at my place.
Oh, you have got a house, Remy.
I didn't say that. Said I've got a place.
We also don't all need to stay together. We
No,
can
this
get
This is
rest
also
and meet up
very
in the morning.
true.
This is correct.
Ooh. I got 2.
I got 7.
Nice.
Hold on.
2.
See?
I like that the more rolls everyone does collectively, the better chance we have of having a wrap
And a glory.
Yeah.
4.
organically.
Has anyone other than me earned glory this session?
I mean, we might have just had 3.
No, I just
Yeah.
earned a wrap
Oh, Remy just
myself.
got one. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, no.
Yeah, Holly got one too. Yeah, 1, 2, 3.
Depending on the DN.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Daniels?
you'll earn a good 3 glory there.
Yeah.
So
Up to 4.
Hell yeah.
So the of everything, there are, like, aside from just tunnels, and like side alleys to stay, there are two things that come sort of side to side with each other. One, if you need a place that you will be confident is secure and safe and open to anyone who wants to go there, with the notable exception of your 2 Xenos members, there is a convent of the Adeptus Sororitas on this planet, which will accept any and all humans.
Right.
And those who follow the faith of the God Emperor, simply asking for sanctuary. The Xenos will be shot on sight no matter who you're with.
So you're saying I can get into a fight with a bunch of nuns.
A bunch of murder nuns.
You could get into a fight.
you're
with a
not
bunch of
making it
murder
less
nuns.
enticing, Jack.
Also,
A bunch of nuns, and the fight you will definitely lose.
from my
It'll
understanding,
not.
of ruler etiquette, the only thing keeping regular nuns from also being murder nuns is their vows. So,
But
I mean,
aside,
in theory, also their morals, you know.
if it was their
aside
morals, they
from-
wouldn't swing those rulers so accurately.
aside from the convent, which would be a solid and safe option for most of you, there. I said most. I wasn't saying who was accepted in that.
No, yeah, absolutely. I was just putting the requisite air quotes around most.
Look, I can go, and they will give me a very comfortable bed.
Oh yeah.
Those are my sisters.
Very racist sisters.
Look, everyone's got racist family, okay?
Aside from that, in the Underhive, there are no shortage of abandoned buildings, and even
Yeah.
just the lower ends of the hive, there are no shortage of abandoned structures. The single most constructed and subsequently abandoned building type in this city is churches. There are a number of abandoned missionaries to be found, especially in the lower levels, because when this planet was first brought into the Imperium, there was an extensive array of missions designed to bring the people into the Imperial Church. And that meant a lot of buildings being put up for a lot of missionaries who, once the job was done, moved on to their next targets. So there are a lot of abandoned churches, especially here in the first city that was built in the aftermath of that war.
I do find that this investigation has been particularly taxing on my particular set of abilities. I may, simply for the peace of mind, adjourn myself, at the very least, to the convent.
I like the idea that with 7 successes on his scholar roll, Aristarchus just pulls up a file and literally just starts scrolling through a list of abandoned churches and just reading off names. Oh, we could go to the Cathedral of Saint Fateriori. We could go to the Mission Priori of Saint Solus is Fallen. We could go to Mission Ab Absurdo. We could go to Saint Alvos Harrius's mission on level sub 15 alpha, right, and just like rips through about 27 different options.
Yep.
I tell you what, about 15 in.
That one sounds
Maybe I'll
good.
cut off and go. I tell you what, you guys go where you're gonna go. Just let me know where to meet you guys up tomorrow morning.
Yeah, same with me. I'm gonna go down to the Wastelanders.
Let's reconvene at time in the morning.
All right.
Theoretically, Tina could elect to head back down to the Digtinka tribe, and literally everyone could go in different directions.
Yeah.
Tina, do you want to? Claire, do you think she'd be okay to go with you, or
Would she be okay to come with Blair?
That's a difficult question to answer. Tina is an orc and thus dangerous to bring basically anywhere.
She originally came with Blair to the Wastelanders.
Yeah, she did.
true? And
However-
almost started
I'm
a
now in
fight.
bigger-
Almost started a fight
Yeah,
there.
that's true.
Yeah.
And now she's got bigger armor, yeah.
Yeah.
And you weren't asking to spend
Yeah.
the night last time.
Yeah, I did that too. We were just saying hello.
I don't think it's the best choice.
Yeah.
I mean,
Alright.
and she'll look at Remy, and then instead of saying it mouth, she stay with you.
Tina, come on, you're crashing at my place.
Sweet.
I'll indicate.
Oh, and there's the chapel of Saint Delphini. We didn't even consider that. Well, everybody's gone. All right.
I will indicate to Laurel a meeting place ahead of the rendezvous so that she can resume her bounty hunting, her bodyguarding duties safely away from the Sisters of Battle.
Mhm.
Aristarchus, do you have a place to stay?
I mean, at this point, I'm kind of interested in maybe just taking the evening to do a walking tour of abandoned cathedrals in the city. I didn't realize there were quite this many that were so close.
Fucking yes.
Just make sure you get rest.
Oh, I'm sure I could find an alcove somewhere. Hmm?
All
This
right.
needs to be a side episode all its own.
There's only so much I can. There's
well,
only
no,
so much
no,
I can
no.
describe Gothic architecture.
No. Just Jack by
I
himself,
disagree.
head on,
Describing.
the architecture
Yeah.
that he sees for 3 hours.
Don't think I won't,
No,
motherfucker.
no.
No, I know you will.
I would pay you to do so. I'm gonna put a request on Start Playing Games. It's just Jack
Right.
reading,
Give-
like doing a gothic church description for 3 hours.
In character voice.
Yes, in
Right.
character, like as a rolling journal.
Now, the nave in this particular chapel was very interesting. You see,
Fuck yes.
So, Remy and Tina go back to Remy's place.
Yep.
Yep. Which is where?
So it is nestled like probably in the bar heavy area, somewhere in a bar heavy area.
Upper end of the Underhive.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
Basically close to where he would be working normally.
Mhm.
It is like the equivalent of like the lower east end, like you would see it would be something you'd see in Rent, probably.
Mhm.
amazing.
Yeah.
like shitty, cramped apartment. Any kind of furniture is like probably 20, 25 years old. Probably there when he got there. He has to walk up and like first of all like make sure the door hasn't been kicked in, or like nobody's broken into the place.
Mhm.
I do a quick check of like all the windows, which have bars over them, kind of thing.
You live on Avenue W.
Yeah, very much so. And yeah, just unlocks the door, heads in, and it's just well, maybe like 1 bedroom shitty apartment.
This is nice.
Thanks. Try not to break anything.
Uh-huh.
It's
The-
not
the
that any
orc-
of it's valuable.
The
It's
orc
just
in
that
mega
it's-
armor had to actively like shift one shoulder in, duck, put the head in, shift
Yep.
the other shoulder in,
Yep.
put one leg in.
It's like moving between compartments in a submarine.
Yeah, yeah.
It's not that any of this stuff is expensive or valuable or anything. It's just that I have my place particularly how I like it, and it would be really hard to replace any of it.
Oh yeah, totally
'Cause
get
it's
it.
crap. So
If the orc sits on the couch will collapse.
I don't sit on the couch.
I like to think that, like, just in order to not break anything, Tina just immediately falls asleep standing up, using the power armor to keep her up.
I am sort of gonna like wedge myself in a corner.
I mean, the
Appreciate
power
it.
armor. The power armor does have the servos that you could literally go to sleep in your armor.
I'm going to, yes.
You could just. You
I'm
could
never
literally just.
leaving this
you could
stuff.
literally-
I'm like
you
a
could literally
hermit
just-
crab. I'm like a hermit crab.
Yeah, you could just lock up the joints, relax your muscles, and fall asleep standing. Basically.
Yeah, you grow into it, and then eventually I'm going to try and find another orc to get a bigger shell. Just how it works.
Like
See?
that.
That is legitimately how it works. Yes.
Exactly. Appreciate it.
Yep.
I like the comparison of orcs as a series of hermit crabs fighting each
Yeah.
other for progressively bigger armor.
I mean, once you hit the point as a boy where you want to get power, where you want to get mega armor, that's exactly what it is. Look at just look at Gashkul. Yeah,
Gazgul.
Gazkul. Yeah, just look at Gazkul. Like his armor has just gotten bigger over the years.
I think
As he takes an occasional Lehman Russ and staples it to his side.
Because I think if I would have gone back there, someone may have tried to steal armor off me. And I'll be honest, Blair did most of it. I think they'd probably get it back. So
That's fair.
Now
this is
you've got
great.
the armor, so now you've got the
Right.
advantage.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, Remy will just like go into like the
Oh, I have to
equivalent of
take
the
my hat off.
refrigerator, pull out some leftovers that are dubious in level of like has it been there too long kind of thing?
You just cut the mold off. It's fine.
You hungry?
Yeah.
All right. Here you go. Like put a bowl of something.
Honestly, you can probably give the parts that you're pretty certain aren't good anymore to Tina, and she'll eat
True.
it fine.
Fair.
Symbiosis.
Especially because many of them probably have some kind of fungus on them.
Yep.
I just heard an old timey I heard an old timey PSA. Remember the way that the
Look, I got a message
Good,
on
there she
TikTok,
is.
but TikTok opens to your For You page first.
Yeah.
So you can't.
Yeah.
So if you have any audio on at all, you're gonna get whatever the first For You page is. Which you know what? You've already heard it, so we might as well hear the rest of it. Hang on.
Oh no.
Nope. The audio's Zoom's ducking it on purpose.
Yeah.
They
Amazing.
just said, "Remember, the way you make a family is not family friendly." Until we meet again.
Nice. But yeah, no, Remy just drops down on the couch with pours himself the first of what will probably be many drinks.
Amazing.
So, Johnny,
Yes.
am I right in assuming that so long as they don't try to kill me for being a psyker, which I do not intend to reveal, spending the night in a Adeptus Sororitas convent would be like very psychically quiet.
Yeah, honestly.
Based on their holy light pairs and everything.
Like genuinely the miracles of the Sororitas and their faith in the Emperor is so strong that it sort of bends the warp around them. Like the hymnals and songs of the Adeptus Sororitas are always going on. There are literally shifts of sisters who, when one person has to go to sleep, pick up the song.
Yeah, I haven't slept since I had a Perils of the Warp earlier, so that's why I'm going there.
But as you introduce yourself as a weary wanderer seeking sanctuary,
I will actually, because it's the sister. What order are they, or what?
this is the Sisterhood of the Blazing Howl, which is a smaller order of the Sisters of Battle, who are located primarily within the realms of Ultramar and associated with legendary figures of imperial record in this region of space.
I will introduce, because they are a member, they are a sister organization. I will introduce myself as an agent of the Inquisition, as a sister of the Inquisition.
And you do so and are welcomed in. You're not the same branch of the Inquisition as they typically work alongside, but you are Inquisition nonetheless, and thus are respected and brought in. And as an agent of the Emperor's holy will, you are welcomed within the convent.
No.
And are provided a comfortable bed, as comfortable as they can provide, I should say.
Bed and food. I will half finish the food probably before I pass out in the bed.
And it is exceptionally calm tides within the warp in your dreams. You are not assailed by any supernatural nightmares, as the calming presence of the sisters that surround the convent keeps most of the foul tides of the warp at bay for a time. Blair, you head to the Wastelanders. Presumably, you are welcomed in and can find the rest of your sisters who are holed up in one of the numerous shelters that have been put together. Anything that you need to ask or do before you get sleep?
No, she's just gonna check in with them, make sure they're doing okay.
Layla is doing much better.
Okay.
She seems to be rapidly getting used to the gun arm.
As one does.
The stitches are gonna scar heavily, but she sort of takes that as a badge of honor. She's gonna have a lot of new scars to talk about. And everyone else appears to be adjusting to having lost their previous home, but most of them were originally Wastelanders anyway, so it's sort of a homecoming again for a lot of them as they have sort of settled back in with this group. Number of them are taking the opportunity to chat up old friends, just sort of take advantage of the space while they've got it. You get a decent rest with some average food.
Before we go to sleep, I will say, Tina, can you do one thing for me?
Yeah. What?
Don't tell any of the others where this is.
Uh-huh.
Awesome, appreciate it.
Roll a memory test to see if Tina remembers making that promise.
Tina just sort of stands there, relaxes muscles a bit.
Yep.
Prepares to rest inside armor.
Yeah.
Aristarchus, you tour a bunch of abandoned cathedrals.
So he is just going to walk until he finds the most intact one that he can, that is as close to the new cavern that Tycho put in the Underhive as possible.
That is not specifically the one that we know he has been to before.
Yes, that is fair. He's going to avoid that one specifically.
Just wanted to clarify that before that ended up being the one that you were at.
The one that he's been to before is well away from that area. So you find yourself in a church dedicated to Saint Celestine, which is a mythical figure, one of the living saints of the Imperium, and supposedly a guardian angel who guides the Adeptus Sororitas in battle and protects them. Which seems to have miraculously survived the collapse without any harm, despite the fact that mere dozens of meters away is a rent in the ground where everything seems to have fallen away.
He will wander the interior of this. Like, is it a full cathedral? Is it more of a chapel? Kind of somewhere in between?
It's more like a wayfarer's shrine.
Okay. So fairly small structure.
Fairly small, which by Imperial standards is still the size of a house.
Right. Mm-hmm.
But it is devoted to a single statue of the Saint Celestine, with a glass, with a stained glass visage of the Emperor in service.
Mm-hmm.
There are several depictions of the Emperor throughout various stages of his life. But the image they have selected is the Emperor in service, which is the Emperor as a skeleton seated upon the golden throne in service to mankind, keeping the tides of the warp at bay.
He'll putter around a little bit, just kind of tidying as he goes, see if there's anything that's been left behind that may have gone overlooked or unnoticed that has any significance.
As you wander around and sort of look around, Roll me an investigation test.
Okay. That's 5 with a potential glory.
Well, you do earn a glory.
All right.
Rick, spend it in the last 2 minutes.
You know what? I haven't spent any wrath yet. 9.
Nice.
I want to find goddamn everything.
So, as you look around, you sort of listen and walk. And you hear a hum of active machinery.
Ooh.
And you look around, and you realize that there's a compartment hidden underneath the statue of Saint Celestine. And you sort of reach down, interface with it, open it up. And there's a reliquary underneath the statue that is stamped with the sigil of the Order Pronatus, which is the order of the Sisters of the Adeptus Sororitas, devoted to the safeguarding of holy relics.
I'll reach. He realizes that he's probably on what would be considered consecrated ground of a different order, and this is one of the, substances that they have probably been charged to protect via death if necessary. So he naturally grabs it with both hands and turns it over to take a look and see exactly what it is.
So the reliquary is a long rectangular box with a number of purity seals and religious iconography stamped across it. It has a variety of scrawling histories and marks of faith all over it. And as you realize that it is perfectly preserved and still currently unsealed, like unlocked, rather. You could open it.
Yeah, why not? Flip.
So you open the case, and inside, you find the long, slender profile of a weapon. Inside this case is a firearm.
Ooh.
It is boxy, square in its design, and covered in purity seals and intricate filigree, and adorned in holy text, and has a pair of sensors hanging from the stock. And you can tell that, gene-coded and unlikely to be physically in use by anyone at the moment without extensive modifications, you are looking at a Navacris 2B Enochian sanctified shotgun.
Holy shit. He's going to set it back in, close the lid, pick it up in his arms, go shut the door to this place, and then find a corner to power down and sleep in with it just clutched to his chest in both arms. And his own galvanic rifle on the ground, ready to get picked up right next to him.
And with that is where we will end for the week.
Say goodbye, everybody.
Bye.